On today's Tech Help for Churches, my social media toolbox. Hi everyone, and welcome again to another episode of Tech Help for Churches. My name is Paul Allen Clifford, and I'm your host today, and I'd love for you to join the conversation. So head on over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/contact. There you can find all my contact information, or just leave a leave a comment there. You will find the number to the voicemail number, which is 1-877-763-3246 or 1-877-POD-ECHO, where you can echo back to this podcast. Or you can drop me a line, paul@trinitydigitalmedia.com, or feel free to hit me up over on Twitter. I'm Paul Allen Cliff. That's spelled the shortest possible way, PAULALANCLIF. And I hope that we'll interact there. Don't forget that I do have a question and answer show every Friday, so if you've got questions, feel free to submit them, and I will get back to you on those and answer them live on the show if I can. So before we get started, I do want to talk to you about just a couple of things. First off, this show is supported in part by viewers like you. Thanks. Patreon enables people, just regular people, to join the effort to bring free live church tech training to the masses. So go ahead and join me over at patreon.com/Paul Allen Cliff. That's patreon.com/PAULALANCLIF, and support the show for as little as $1 a month. Really, $1. If everyone that watched the show gave just $1, you'd be surprised at the changes that we'd see. Also, I want to remind you that my pastor's book is releasing later on this, or at the beginning of next month, and right now is the best time to get it because Amazon has it for less than the cover price. Now, that's not going to stick around, and I think that you're going to be very excited that you picked it up when you did, because if you pick it up now, you'll save some money, and if you don't, then you'll pay full price. This is not just a 5-page ebook. This is a full-length manuscript created by my pastor, who's influenced me so incredibly. That's why I'm offering this to all of you. I don't get paid for this. I just believe in it. So head over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/whatlifebook or trinitydigitalmedia.com/whatlife. Either one should take you to the Amazon link where you can buy your copy. And you won't be charged until it actually ships at the beginning of May. So I really would love you to go ahead and lock in the pre-order price today. Okay, so let's get started. As I was trying to figure out what I was going to talk about today, I was thinking, I've kind of slacked off in all my social media stuff. I ought to go to Tweepy. And I went there and I was starting to do some work. There were 800 some odd people that I'd followed that aren't following me, so I thought, well, they're not really helping, so I unfollowed them, and I thought, ooh, I bet the Tech Help for Churches people would love to know what I'm doing. So I started writing down a list of all the things that I use from time to time, sometimes daily, sometimes every few months, and I came up with this list. So it's a pretty big list of things that I use, and there's a reason that I use all of them. So let's take a look, shall we? Number one, SocialBah. This is a plugin for Chrome that allows me to post to Google+, my personal page of Google Plus, I think that it just emulates putting it into a browser. So Google Plus, uh, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And when I say Facebook, I mean not only my personal Facebook, but all my Facebook pages. So I write the message once and I send it to about 7 or 8 different places. So that's a pretty powerful thing to do. And so that's how I make the announcements of these shows. So that is a Chrome plugin called SocialBa, SocialBa exclamation point. So the Facebook Power Editor is something that's really good for doing Facebook dark posts, doing posts that have buttons that are the call to action buttons. So I use that from time to time, but I don't like it as much as one of the other tools that I'm going to mention a little later. But it does have some power, and I did a screencast on it a while back. Tweepy, Tweepi, is a Twitter tool. And what it does is it allows you to go through all your followers and decide if you want them or if you want to keep following them. But it's not one at a time. Well, technically it is one at a time, but it's much more efficient than the way that Facebook has it. Or not Facebook, Twitter does it. So it's a click, and then it advances it down the list to the next place where you can click. So you can just go click, 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 and unfollow people. Or the opposite, follow people. Now what's really great about it is it enables you to filter based on finding someone else who has what you would assume are similar followers to you. So in my case, I find other church tech people, and I follow their friends, and basically I view it as introducing myself. If they're not interested, after a day or two, that's fine. I unfollow them. If they are, they stay on my list. So that's how I use Tweepy. Social Oomph, SocialOomph, is a tool I use, and I think that it's the case that I was grandfathered into what I used it for. I use it to send auto direct messages offering people a copy of my book, my first book, Podcasting Church. Now I'm going to change that up here real quick before long, because I think I've done that long enough, and so I'm going to try it with a copy of my book. Maybe the Serving Church. I think the Serving Church. So anyway, or maybe Tweeting Church. Tweeting Church would do better with Twitter. Oh well, more to come on that. But so Social Oomph does that, auto direct messages, or it did. Now, when it comes to my blog, if you go to trinitydigitalmedia.com, I actually use a lot of plugins to accomplish what I'm doing there. So let me list those off. The Facebook like box, which enables you to like all my posts. Google Plus author information in search results, long title. But what that does is it basically connects my blog, trinitydigitalmedia.com, with my Google Plus presence, so that Google knows, hey, this is the same person that wrote both of these. So that gives me more Google juice, as they say. The Pinterest Pin It button Lite, that enables me to have a Pinterest Pin It button underneath all my posts, so I can go through quickly and pin those, or someone else can. Pretty Link Lite, that enables me to do things like the trinitydigitalmedia.com/whatlifebook shortcut. So that's pretty valuable. The Pretty Link Plus gives you even more power, but for what I'm doing, the light version's fine. For other short links, a lot of times you'll notice that I use Bitly, bit.ly. Bitly is a company that Basically, it just makes it really easy to make a short link and to edit the name of the short link. So it comes up with like capital Q, lowercase a, 397, capital B, lowercase q as the link. I just made that up, so that may or may not be anything. But it enables you to edit those so that you can give it a name that makes more sense. So, for example, my playlist for the ProPresenter 5 tutorials that I've done, which I'm doing screencasts every Tuesday now. So tomorrow you can tune in at the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. UTC, and see those screencasts. Well, so my ProPresenter 5 tutorial playlist on YouTube is bit.ly/ all lowercase pro5tuts, PRO 5 TUTS. So bit.ly/pro5tuts, and that will take you to that playlist. So that's something else that I do. I did that so that it would be easy for me to remember, easy for you to remember, and short enough where I can put it in a tweet, Facebook post, etc. Simple social icons. If you go to trinitydigitalmedia.com, you'll see the Facebook, Twitter, YouTube icons on the top of the page. That's how I did that. Social. Social is what I use instead of the Facebook Power Editor most of the time. And what social does is, as soon as I write a post on trinitydigitalmedia.com, it pops up another page that says, okay, here's what it'll look like when you send it to Twitter. Here's what it'll look like when you send it to Facebook. So how do you want to do that? And I can uncheck or check any of those and send them off. So that's typically how I do it, to let people know that the final product is up and ready to go. Because this won't be done until probably this afternoon. So that's why I do that. Tweet old posts. Tweet old posts is a cool little plugin that just basically I can put in a prefix, whatever I want. So for me, what I've done is from the archives, and then it puts a link to one of my old posts. So that way I get more traffic, and it does that once a day, a couple times a day, just to have more visibility to some of my older content, which is still perfectly good. I try and do evergreen content, so there's no reason why people can't engage with that and find good information there. YouTube channel gallery. Anytime that you see the videos link on my site, you'll go and you'll see that there's one main video and then there's several sub videos under that. The reason that I did that is so that you can very easily find videos of the subjects that you want, and YouTube channel gallery does that automatically. So as I upload new videos to YouTube, it puts them in my gallery. For analytics, I do Twitter counter. That tells me how many Twitter followers I have and the direction of the trend. So am I going up and to the right, or am I going down and to the right? So that really helps me see if what I'm doing is working in engaging more followers, or if I'm on a slow decline or an all-at-once decline. And that's actually helpful. I've kind of neglected Twitter this year, and I found that I'm on a slow decline. At the beginning of the year, I had about 700 more followers than I do now. Now I might lose 5 or 10 net followers a day. So that's not good, but I can get that back in a week. just using my method of following people and unfollowing them and so on. So that's good for me to know that that's what's going on, because I really hope that someday I'll be well known enough that I won't have to actively introduce myself to people. People will find out about me and want to introduce themselves to me. So hopefully that will happen eventually. Twitaholic. Twitaholic tells me who the top people are in each area. In this specific instance, I'm talking about in my town. I'm the number 9 Twitter user in my town. Well, actually, that's not true. Where I actually live, I'm the number 1 Twitter user, but it's a small bedroom community for the next nearby town. So I actually pay attention, and I say that I'm from Lexington, even though technically I live in Nicholasville, just a few miles away, because I'm number 1 in Nicholasville, and that's really a smaller sample, so it's not worth saying anything about. So I say Lexington because more people know where that is, especially this week as I'm recording this. UK, the University of Kentucky Wildcats, will be playing against the Yukon Huskies for the national championship. 2 years ago, they won the national championship in men's college basketball. So people are familiar with Lexington, at least on the level of, oh, that's where UK basketball is from. So I'm number 9 in Lexington, and I know that because of Twitaholic. Now, I do want to mention some kind of honorable mentions. I don't have nearly as many of these as I have of the tools I actually use. The Facebook Power Editor maybe ought to be in the honorable mention category because I don't use it as much anymore, but I do use it. Some of the ones, by the way, that I listed are set them up and don't touch them again kind of things. And others are, okay, let's use this every day. So I don't want you to think that every day I go through this entire list. I use whatever's appropriate, and some things just I use every day only because they're automatically set up to be used every day. So, honorable mention goes to Manage Flitter, which is much like Tweepy. In fact, I love the interface, but there's something that they don't do that Tweepy does. So I don't like the interface of Tweepy as well, but with Manage Flitter, I can't say, okay, let's go for Todd Elliott, who is from Willow Creek Community Church, and let me follow his followers, but only the ones who have actually tweeted in the last week. It's that who have actually tweeted in the last week that I can't do anything with. I can't find them. I can't filter them, so I don't like that. But for unfollowing, Manage Flitter is much better. But just FYI, Hootsuite allows me to follow certain lists. It allows me to do all kinds of great stuff, but it only posts to the Google Plus company page, not my Google Plus personal page. So for your church, that's perfect. But in my case, I'm trying to build my personal brand, so it's not as good. Buffer is great for scheduling tweets. So Hootsuite will do this as well. Social Oomph will do this as well. So you can create tweets ahead of time. So let's say, for example, my church is coming up on a conference at the beginning of next month. So my pastor's book is launching, and we're having a conference with Bill Hybels, who also wrote the foreword to my pastor's book. So for that conference, we'll probably have tweets going out all the time. Well, we're not checking into Twitter several times a day to write those tweets. We write them all in advance and then have them slowly come out. Buffer at bufferapp.com would be a good way to do that. Hootsuite is the way I think we actually do that. And the other thing is I could use Social for that. I could use Social for that. There are a lot of tools to do that. Now, I want you to, if you do that, don't forget that you need to pay attention when people react to you and engage them. But just put out the information and see what happens. So I really hope that all of these tools, which I'll have listed on in the comments or in the information below this video, if you go there, you click on all these links, I think that they'll help you as you're using social media to go out and change eternity. Until next time, I'm Paul Allen Clifford with TrinityDigitalMedia.com.